If you're holding crypto right now, let me quickly tell you of the predicament that we're all in. And we all share the same one. And that is basically that as it currently stands, the Bitcoin and basically every single altcoin like an XRP, like Ethereum, like Solana, all the main ones, basically every single coin out there, have been going down consecutively. And we've been watching that every single day. Let me just briefly refresh it right here. We can see Bitcoin is at 60.5 thousand, Ethereum at roughly 1,600. Even Tether is down a bit. I'm just joking. Of course, that's a stable coin pegged to $1. It can move sometimes a little bit though. We've got BNB, XRP, Solana, all generally speaking being slightly down. I mean, XRP here is up on the day, up roughly 1.6%, but you get it. The last little while here has been for the most part negative. Now, there's one very crucial thing I quickly want to make sure we're all on the same page on. And that's really that we've come to a moment of ooh. And and this ooh is not because I'm afraid. I've been in cryptocurrency videos for 10 years. I'm making these videos every motherfreaking week for 10 years straight. I'm never quitting. I'm never going nowhere. So don't you worry about that. If I sell my coins, you better see me delete the freaking channel, or I'd be depressing that delete button on the channel and never coming back, because that's never happening. I can't do it. I believe in this stuff too much. And sure, there are times where it's hard, where it's not that easy to hold on through, but then I remember one very important thing, and that's actually the impasse that I'd say we are also witnessing today. Let me just quickly share with you guys the impasse that I was just referring to, because it is showcased right here. What we see in Bitcoin, we often call the 4-year cycle. And that basically means that we go up for a while, right? Let's say about 3 years or so, before there's 1 year of down, before we again go up for roughly 3 years, and about a year and a half or so into this cycle, whenever there's the halving, right? Which we saw last time, summer 2024, I believe April or so 2024. So we're about a third into it. We see the all-time high before crumbling down, like I said, for about a year before making its way back up. And it says right here that between these, so the bottom and I guess the next halving is roughly 500 days. And then between the halving and the next peak of the market is another 500 days. Now, why is this so interesting, you may ask? And that's essentially because if I look back at some of the videos that I've made throughout the years that I showed, for example, earlier in 2024, even in 2025, you know, one of the most interesting things that I said was, matter of fact, even in 2023, all right, 2022 probably as well. You know what I said? That it's really quite clear, especially when things are happening, when you should buy and when you should sell. But also, and this is a key that many people do not understand, when it's too late to make any sort of decision and it's just time to wait. Now, let me quickly show what I mean with an example of the chart. This is not the one I always like to pull up, but it will work for the time being. If we take the top of Bitcoin from 2013 to that bottom, you can see we went down a crazy percentage. Now, when you look at this move though, from where to where would it have been smart to sell, and where from where would it have been smart to buy? That answer becomes a lot easier when you look at the next wave. And essentially, the next wave is basically all the way from the bottom that we saw right there towards the top, in this case here in December 2017. Now, if you take a look at this entire trajectory, it would have basically been a pretty good idea to sell. Where? Well, in this, let's say this first ballpark here, let's say the first year or so after the peak had been reached, because after that, sure, you could have gotten yourself a slightly lower price, and in this case here, it looks quite big because it's still 50% down lower, but that's actually mostly just a wick. There's actually a pretty good chance that if you had sold in any of this time period right here, that you actually would have sold, and you sold the local bottom. Like at this point, you really didn't know. I'm going to say everything before December or so of 2014 would have most likely felt pretty good. So somewhere within this like 1 year ballpark, let's say. And then, and here comes the funniest part, anywhere throughout that point, and well, I'm going to say the next 1,050 days or so, right? Basically 3 years after that, it would have been a pretty good idea to relax and buy the dip. But then you actually look kind of further and say, you know what? Even if you just started buying or didn't sell your coins in this entire move downwards, in hindsight, it would have just been pretty freaking good to hold on, because it's preferable to have bought a little bit too high or just not sold the bottom, right? Just be holding your coins at slightly too high a price, and see a bottom, than to just sell everything and miss out on the crazy move after. But so does that still hold up in 2017, 2018? Well, again, where could you have really sold to make a really good decision? Theoretically speaking, anywhere in this little ballpark right here. From the highest point towards the lowest point before the massive crash, it's already a 70% dip, roughly a year in. But hey, you know what? Let's pull it slightly further. Here, we put it at exactly 1 year in. 81% down or so. That's basically the entire window you had where a sale would have been pretty good. Then again, a buy below those prices, you really didn't have much time. I know 150 days sounds to people like a lot, but when this is happening, especially when you're not making lower lows every day, it can be sometimes kind of tough because you sold your coins somewhere throughout, then you have to buy again. But some people, they're waiting for way bigger dip to buy again. Because it's not like people sell and buy back 2% cheaper. That's hard. Regardless, so in this period, you would have had a year or so as well. Now, in hindsight, again, if you take a look at how long we went up for after that, about 1,140 days. But some people actually consider the idea that this was the real peak of the market. So I guess that makes it slightly shorter. That would be, again, more towards our usual number of 1,000 days. This is 861. But officially, we went all the way towards right here, 1,000. No, I'm going to say that one actually fits a bit better. 1,071. I thought it was a bit more for some reason. I think I took top to top. Regardless, if we take a look at those numbers, again, anywhere throughout this period, if you've just not been a little wuss and you just bought those freaking dips, it would have been pretty simple. Now, what's the key here? What am I alluding to? What am I getting to? That actually, in hindsight, we basically knew exactly where to buy and where to sell, because it's a formula that's been repeating itself for plenty of years in a row. That's what we'd call the Bitcoin cycle, and it's pretty clear as day how long it goes up for, how much it goes down for, and how long these things all take. So what did I draw in here before? This was my prediction a long time ago, and here's the kicker. I've been saying the same thing for plenty of years, even before we saw none of the actions that you're seeing right here. I've not drawn in this chart for at least a year, and you can see we're talking about some of these higher points. Why? Because theoretically speaking, this June or so of 2025, and I always said June to August of 2025, is where the market should fall back down for the next year or so. Why did I say that? Well, I said that one of my best crypto guys that I know, just the person that's basically made the most money off of crypto that I ever met, he was completely dead on the top in 2021. With the 69,000, and they had a big bet. A couple of big crypto YouTubers had a bet, and he was super spot on. Now he's also got a boatloads of money, boatloads. He can't even see how much he's carrying on those boats, and he basically told me that that's how it's always going to go, and well, you should start selling from January 1st, 2025. And I said that to every one of you in my videos. Did I fully adhere to my own advice? No. Why? Because when you get into it, you realize, you know what? And that's kind of the philosophy I just shared with you. It's going down for like a year, but it's mostly going up for most of those years. Since we got the ETFs and all the new things, maybe this deviates. Long story short, I didn't really sell it fully. We did sell a good chunk in the whole phase back in I believe it was June or so of 2025, but things are getting a bit blurry now as it's so long ago. And actually a lot of money was made after that. It was, of course, just the crash of October 2025 or so that caught us all by surprise. And maybe, just maybe, if that did not happen, that orchestrated push, who would have right now had a crypto market that saw the craziest heights of roughly, $250,000 of BTC, and the cycle would have been broken. But since we saw that, the cycle was basically continued on. And now, where am I getting to it with the title of this video? We're getting to a make or break point where if, and really this is a very big if, we continue and we refuse to make new higher lows and higher highs, we're going to be seeing, most likely, basically a repeat of what we saw these past years. Are we going to go down 80% from these peaks like we saw in previous cycles? I don't think so, because of ETFs, etc. But if you look at it, here we went down 90%, then 84, and then 80. Even if we go down 75%, this is, again, talking very bearishly. That's still a pretty long ways to go for Bitcoin. We're talking $35,000, which is still plenty higher than the bottom of the previous cycle at 15,000. Still double. But more importantly, that would then mark the worst position that we could be in, which is, let's say, half of what we are at today, the worst that I can possibly see. But more importantly, if we're looking at the timing, that basically means that the majority of the worst time is already over for us. Because why? Because it tends to only go down for about a year in every one of these scenarios. And that's like 3 months left, 2-3 months left before the local bottom should really be seen. Now, again, looking back at it, the top was kind of inevitable because of every single factor I've discovered and discussed over the past years. We've always been discussing, we knew it. You didn't want to believe it because things were so different. And I still stand by the idea that this time will be different. And the 4-year cycle Bitcoin situation is going to change, mostly because so much more money is into it now, so much more institutional flow. And these people, in my own opinion, like I said, when the ETFs were introduced, will not sell as quickly as the retail would, meaning the bottom most likely sits significantly higher than in previous cycles where a lot more retail-driven emotion took place. I think a lot of that is gone. And I still think this push downwards was a exchange, let's call it a pushed move downwards. I still consider some big exchanges to have started this whole move, and I still, by this point, do not see any sort of reason to believe that the crypto market is over. I still think it was just some sort of liquidity issue that we are basically right now facing the repercussions of. But regardless, I still think though that it will fix itself in due course, and that theoretically speaking, the worst is over, and we've basically gotten to like an end point. Now, the nicest thing is though, recently, I've been doing a lot more of just, and you may call me stupid or funny for this, but I'm doing a lot more talking to AI and trading that way. So what do I mean with that is, well, as you guys may have seen in my previous videos, what you can nowadays do, and this is just me starting up a fresh little chat here, is you can tell an AI, here I'm telling, for example, Claude, hey, you know what, open up my my trading view here and put a couple of things in. I want to see some resistances, I want to see some other indicators or chart patterns in my Bitcoin chart. Hey, perhaps I want to trade off of that, or perhaps I just don't want to do the analysis myself anymore. So with no context whatsoever, right? I'm just opening this up fresh. I didn't specify what it should look like, how it should format these things on a different computer here. I've got that set up and I can show you guys a bit of what that looks like if you want. But I'm just saying, I didn't specify anything. I just said draw some stuff into my chart. Let's quickly see exactly what it came up with. Now, the only problem is I do have a lot of different trading configurations already in my my Claude system, so perhaps it's applying a couple without really explaining why. But as you can see right here, it's doing some primitive, but regardless, some sort of analysis on the chart already without me giving any sort of direction, as it specified some of the most important supports, resistances, and also perhaps gave a bit of an explanation. Like for example here, falling wedge, bullish bias if breaks above descending resistance. Now I will add that that chart is completely fresh. I didn't touch it, I didn't see it before. Oh well, I mean I've seen the chart before if you get my drift, but all I did was tell the AI, put some stuff in there, make some stuff up. And it decided to go ahead and get some stuff in there, which you can see from whatever troubles it was facing. It came up with a couple of things to draw in. And that's the type of stuff I really have dedicated the last couple of months of my life to every single day, just grinding this out. And you could get started as well on bottrading.net, absolutely free. Just make sure you sign up, get yourself a nice little prompt to get started. It's the most important part. And actually, really, I've been sharing so many different things about it in videos recently. Here's, for example, one strategy. And I've also drawn out exactly when it took the trade and why. In this case here, we don't really see the why, but it's a long process of vetting a strategy. And what it basically comes down to is if you're a trader already, or you have some sort of idea, for example, you can describe exactly what it is you want to do. I want to buy XRP, or I want to buy an asset that is down 2% on the day, but actually only 3% down on the week. Well, it's a percentage thing or a certain funding, whatever. As crazy as you can name it, you can now automate it, which is why I tell you guys, all right, if there's anything you'd like to see, this is just an example of what you can do. But there's a ton of things. Like, for example, I can show you. Here's, for example, a strategy it came up with. In this case here, I'm not sure if this one is good or bad. You can see it's up 683,000. Oh, you can't see. $683,000 over its period if we were to follow that, or different strategy. Let's see if that one's good or bad. In this case here, only up $31,000. I'm not sure how long this trades back for, as every one of these has different trading terms, but you get the idea, right? Even if it's over all these years, it's kind of cool. You can really just see it in that much detail. You can see every single trade that it took throughout time, usually all the way reflected in the chart. Which is also what I showed you guys last time, right? Where here, for example, the chart was filled in completely by AI. It did every single one of these things, like the liquidity sweep / capitulation level, which we've kind of already broken through, the CME gap, the nice little boxes in colors right here. It drew in everything itself, and it turned out to be pretty freaking accurate. And more importantly, you can see a lot of different strategies. This one, I guess, over this time frame, maybe it was a different time frame. I think it was 4 hour. Yeah, over the 4 hour, and I think over a shorter time span, it was actually quite profitable, maybe even shorter, not so sure. Anyway, you get some of the capabilities that we now have with the power of just speaking to the AI, because we can just let it all be done, and it's so much easier. Now, with that in mind, and here's the funniest thing, if the market were to recover, I've done the calculations for it, as of this point, I was going to say, if the markets do move down from here, I've done the calculations. Now, I have to say, if the markets come down from here even further, they just keep going down. I've done the calculations now, and I can tell you one thing. You're basically, and this may sound negative, but you're too late to sell. If you do end up selling, you've got like a 90-day window or so where you'll see if this turned out to be a really good idea, and you were, basically shorting the bottom. You were there, or shorting just before the bottom, a couple weeks, a couple months before it hit, which is pretty risky, pretty daring, but hey, you did a pretty good job. Or, well, again, looking at the numbers, since you're so close to that bottom, you may have hit a point right now where it's basically going sideways. Maybe it's not the bottom just quite yet, but maybe, right, we're basically not going further than about this range. Maybe we go $6,000 lower, maybe we go $7,000 lower, but since it's going to be bouncing so much, you do not know if you're at the lowest point and it bounces up from here, comes back down and does a bit of a zigzag from here, or if you're actually lucky and we were to go down a couple more K. But remembering what we saw before, it is, in my opinion, not that worth it anymore to give up now to capitulate unless, again, you're going to go into a completely different sector. And the main reason I say that is because if you really start taking a look at the stock market, we're still at all-time highs. So if you're going into that, there's other risks associated. Go AI sector, data center sector, chip sector. All of them are peaking like crazy. If you're getting into them now, that's always the thing. Well, theoretically speaking, I'm a fan of following the trends, so why not? But every single one of these assets, you're at a really freaking strange point. And that's what everybody in the market is saying right now, that from the stock side, we are at the riskiest point ever. Even though capital inflows in the US are at record-breaking levels right now. It is also quite an interesting point that we're coming to, where AI all of a sudden is going to be country gate kept, like Anthropic and ChatGPT or OpenAI, all of a sudden having these rules for which countries can use it. That's probably going to cost the AI companies some valuation. Apple now raising their prices because they can't keep up with their crazy demand in chips. Where's the freaking market going towards, right? So do you short those then? Do you quit those as well because they're at the peak? Or do you just keep them buying because it's continuing higher? Well, like I said, with the crypto market, it's been flowing down. Do you sell because you expect it to go further? Just like how we buy the stock market because it keeps trending upwards. But they're both at a really interesting point where the market, the crypto market, has been going down for so long that it's just bound to turn around. And the stock market and the AI market have been going up so long and so vigorously, viciously, that it's bound to have some sort of correction soon, right? Well, as at this point, I'm basically long everything still. And that's because I always tend to have this bias that all these markets eventually go towards the right and upwards, which basically means they stay throughout time and they just keep doing better. And as long as you're patient enough, you'll benefit from it, which is why I'm never afraid, like I always say. Now, if you're still looking for a platform to trade on, I personally trade over on Bluefin. You can find a link for that down below. One of our trades are doing pretty well, being up roughly $35,000 or so on Hyperliquid. And also some of our trades are not doing so good here. Our XRP trade still, as of this point, ladies and gentlemen, is down a nice, a nice little, how much? $570,000 US. You know what the nice thing about that is, though? I at least have $570,000 to be red on, because I see my account this account only still has a couple $100,000 left. So at some point, we're going to be down $1 million on just one trade if the markets do keep falling down, which will be a very interesting point to witness. You know, at least it's a funny milestone. Conclusion time, though, I'm never selling these freaking coins. I still believe most of the markets, as long as you just stay in them long enough, you'll do very freaking well. Take a look at the stock market thus far, you know, since its inception, really. Take a look at the crypto market thus far. It would have always been beneficial to just hold on through, and that's the motto of today. Even though it can get slightly worse, we don't really have that much time to get worse from here.